I've been a fan of Disneyland as long as I can remember, and honestly, for the longest time, I wasn't really the biggest fan of the Disneyland fireworks. In recent years, I've grown to appreciate them more and more for what they are. But a fireworks show that I've always appreciated was the Halloween fireworks at Disneyland, which of course is Halloween Screams. This show has been running since 2009. For the longest time, it was my favorite fireworks show at Disneyland, but that is no longer the case. But since the Halloween season is in full swing, we are going to deep dive into this show in today's video. Before we get started, please like this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of Halloween Screams. What is your favorite part? What is your least favorite part? I would love to hear down below. And of course, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. At the time of this recording, we are pushing for 20,000 subscribers, so I would greatly appreciate your support if you helped us reach that goal. Thank you so much. One more thing, if you check the description, I have a link to my Instagram account. I would also greatly appreciate if you gave me a follow over there. Thank you so much, everybody. This is the third Disneyland fireworks show that I've made a review video for. The first one I did was Wondrous Journeys, which is now my favorite Disneyland fireworks show. Absolutely love that thing. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. The other review video I made was for Mickey's Mixed Magic, and I really tore that show to shreds because I truly feel like Mickey's Mixed Magic is Disneyland's budget fireworks show. And after really tearing into it and seeing why I don't like it, I looked back at Halloween Screams, and unfortunately I saw a lot of the same qualities. So I do feel like Halloween Screams is kind of a budget-friendly fireworks show for Disney. It's nowhere near as bad as Mickey's Mixed Magic. Like, most of the highlights for Halloween Screams involve fireworks getting shot off of the castle, and Mickey's Mixed Magic just doesn't have that at all. So it's no question in my mind, Halloween Screams is still way better than Mickey's Mixed Magic. I'd honestly take Halloween Screams over a handful of Disneyland fireworks shows, honestly, which may or may not be a popular opinion. If you ask like die-hard Nighttime Spectacular fans, they would probably tell you this is one of the weaker shows. But if you ask some of the general public, I would imagine that they would tend to agree with me and favor this show because Halloween is so popular. The Disney villains are so popular, and obviously they play a very big role in this show. Something else I have to say is that Halloween Screams used to have like aura, like it used to be very exclusive because Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party would be at Disneyland. And obviously when that Halloween party is taking over the park, you have to have access to the event to see the fireworks show, so that kind of put a limit on who could see it. I can't remember if it was like weekends only for day guests or if it was like you couldn't see the show at all unless you went to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I seem to remember that being the case, but I was a small child, I'm not gonna lie, I can't really remember. But 8 years ago, Disney made a big push to move Halloween from Disneyland to DCA. So that meant no more Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. They implemented Oogie Boogie Bash at California Adventure. So that means Halloween Screams became much more available for day guests, and that's how it is today. The projection show is shown every single day, but fireworks are weekends only during the Halloween season because school is in session, all that jazz. My favorite place to watch any Disneyland fireworks show is always going to be on Main Street, about like halfway down Main Street. So you can see the buildings on both your left and your right, and you can still see the castle at the end of the street. And you don't have to get there too early to get an absolutely amazing view. Something that I probably should have discussed in a firework review video by now is the fact that, unfortunately, fireworks are not the most equal viewing experience. I am blessed with a decent height, so I can see over a good amount of people. Honestly, I just have to make sure I'm in like the group in front of me is like average height, and I will be all set. But I know not everybody has that blessing, so it can be a struggle in that crowd. It's never easy. It's never comfortable, to be honest. Some people can get really antsy, and then it can just kind of snowball from there, you know? I haven't had any awful experiences in those firework crowds, though, thank God. Pray that it stays that way. Halloween Screams was developed before Disney really got into projections, like as big as they are, because they're like big into projections these days. Halloween Screams debuted in 2009, so they had to develop projections for an already existing Halloween fireworks show. So for that reason, the projections for Halloween Screams are much cheaper and honestly much more ugly than the projections for most of especially the newer Disneyland fireworks show. If you've seen Wondrous Journeys, the projections for that show look absolutely jaw-dropping. Halloween Screams is nowhere near that level, but it's still more interesting to look at than just a castle or buildings that change colors. Halloween Screams is pretty well structured. Jack Skellington is the host of the show, and a vast majority of the music is done by like the same cover band. I'm not gonna lie, the band does get kind of tiring after a while. Like, I went through a phase of loving the soundtrack for Halloween Screams, but these days I've kind of grown a little more sour on it. Like, there are still specific highlights that I'll listen to over and over and over again, but the show as a whole, I'm getting a little tired of it. When that show finally gets started, I think Halloween Screams might have the longest period of time from the start of the show to the first firework. There is a very, very, very long musical overture. Obviously, most of that is Nightmare Before Christmas. Funny enough, the first imagery you're going to see on the castle is those flat colors like green and orange before the projections actually take over. And then eventually Zero is going to come flying over the castle, which is very, very cool. I love those effects. And it's cool that Zero takes over the spot that is typically Tinkerbell for like classic Disneyland fireworks shows. But this park has so many different fireworks shows now that that spot isn't like anybody's in particular anymore, which is kind of funny. Jack Skellington is projected on this big like snow globe looking thing. It's used throughout the entire show. Multiple different characters are going to appear on it. It does not inflate until the show starts. So if you know about it beforehand, you won't be able to like line up your view with that snow globe. You'll just kind of have to eyeball it and then adjust on the fly if you can't see it. But it's crazy how fast it inflates. And then it disappears like pretty much immediately after the show, so very magical. The projections of Jack himself don't look great. He used to be 2D, and then they updated him to look 3D, and honestly, I think it looks way worse than the 2D silhouette shadow look they used to have. They still have that for Oogie Boogie, and honestly, I think they should go back to that for Jack Skellington, because this 3D head is a little uncanny. Jack is a very wordy host. Like, he talks a lot throughout the show, which typically would bother me, but I don't know. I feel like Jack gets a little bit of a pass for a Halloween show. That being said, though, his voice isn't the best. It doesn't sound fully like Jack Skellington. He sounds just a little bit off.
Well, let me show you. We'll call out the spirits to socialize.
So, not the greatest. The first song that's gonna kick us off is Grim Grinning Ghosts, and honestly, the show kicks into high gear immediately. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love Grim Grinning Ghosts. I love this moment with Vocalize and the lyrics, the sparklers in the back, and the eyes on the castle like sync up, and it's really cool. I love that moment. There are a couple other moments in Grim Grinning Ghosts where the castle fireworks are synced up very well with the music, and I absolutely love when Disneyland fireworks shows do that. Plus, as I mentioned, I am a Haunted Mansion fanboy, so the music really hits. I do think it's hilarious that Disney really pushes Grim Grinning Ghosts for their Halloween promotions, their Halloween material. You head over to the Haunted Mansion and you can't hear Grim Grinning Ghosts, but that's like an entirely different discussion. I don't know, it's a little bit amusing. The backwards logic of this massive corporate machine is a little funny sometimes. Grim Grinning Ghosts is going to lead straight into This Is Halloween, which is another strong sequence. This also has a couple points where the castle fireworks work really well with the music.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
One of my favorite moments in this entire show has always been the end of the This Is Halloween sequence with the la la las. The projections and the fireworks in this moment work better here than any other point in the show. So it's really cool, and I think the music is very strong as well. That's one of those moments that I would replay over and over again. It's always been one of my favorite parts of the show, as I have said. But after that, the villains are going to take over, starting with Ursula. The Poor Unfortunate Souls sequence in Halloween Screams is pretty okay. Other than that, the fireworks don't sync too well. There's a cool moment for the sparklers though, but other than that, nothing too notable. The strongest moment is probably the last beat. Next up is Cruella de Vil. Her color scheme is very, very distinct, which I think really helps this sequence. I love the fireworks that are like half white and half dark. It's a very defining moment of the show. I love this cool musical break with the castle fireworks. And then there's a good transition into the Peter Pan sequence with the crocodile. The Peter Pan moments in this show are okay as well. The crocodile is actually a break from the cover band, so I'll take it. I love the green fireworks for the crocodile. And then right after that, the show's gonna hop into Captain Hook's theme, but it's more like Pirates of the Caribbean imagery. It is very, very brief. It's a very brief sequence, but it does have cool lighting. That's really the only representation that Pirates gets in this show. Immediately after, Halloween Screams is going to keep up a fast pace by throwing you into the dancing skeletons from the Silly Symphony cartoons. Again, it's another short moment, so Halloween Screams is just keeping that energy up, moving from thing to thing. Very fast, very fun. I appreciate. And then a cool wave of sparklers is going to lead us to the next moment, which is from Jungle Book. The music is really, really, really going to slow down here for Trust in Me and a little bit of A-E-I-O-U. That moment's pretty forgettable in my opinion. Up next is another highlight of the show. Heffalumps and Woozles is very, very, very high energy, very creative projections, and a great blend of fireworks. Very, very well integrated. And then directly after Heffalumps and Woozles will be the pink elephants on parade. They lead directly into one another. It's another high energy sequence that uses the castle fireworks and the projections very, very well. So those two back to back they work so well together. I absolutely love them. Bright colors, great music, high energy. There's like not much more I could ask for. It's always been one of my favorite parts of the show, just like the end of This Is Halloween. But next up, we're going to have some spotlights that lead us into the Big Bad Wolf. Funny enough, like we had a lot of short sequences while we raced through a lot of these villains, but Big Bad Wolf gets a very, very long sequence, which is kind of funny to me. Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf is actually pretty long. Jack literally cuts in halfway through the scene for no particular reason other than to extend it, which is kind of funny.
Life's no fun without a good scare. Look at Halloween's magic in the air.
The sparklers when Jack does that are pretty cool though. I'm a fan of those. When the Big Bad Wolf comes back, the spinning pinwheels are very, very fun. Love, love, love when Disneyland fireworks shows do that. Pretty nostalgic. And then there's a long fireworks sequence with those spotlights, which once again return. And then after this, Oogie Boogie is gonna hijack the show for his song. The projections are pretty cool with like the casino imagery. I love the sparks that are launched off the castle in this moment right here.
Oh, I'm really scared. So you're the ones they're talking about.
Oogie Boogie is pretty fun, but nowhere near my favorite part of the show. I do love the castle fireworks before the transition into Maleficent. And Maleficent is gonna bring double sparklers. I always love these double sparklers. This is where Halloween Screams chose to use them, and I think they work really well here. Maleficent's sequence caught an absolutely massive L during the Phantasmic Fire, which of course, funny enough, was Maleficent's dragon. Like, Maleficent cannot catch a break. Like, there used to be these awesome fire effects right next to the castle. Those would go off during Maleficent's sequence. But when the Phantasmic Dragon burned down, Disneyland reevaluated all of their fire effects, and they chose to eliminate the castle fires, which honestly... Not a bad idea, in my opinion. I always thought that those flames were ridiculously close to the castle. God forbid a Disney castle ever burns down. The PR disaster that would be unbelievable. It would be insane. So I think it's a smart idea that they stopped doing that, because I'm sure they had safety precautions, but you never know what's going to happen. The freaking dragon burned down after like over a decade of operation, so you never know what's going to happen. So I don't think they need to bring back the fire effects, but they do need a replacement for this sequence because it's very, very empty without it. They need to rework it. They brought this like mist effect, so it's supposed to like mimic fire, but it just doesn't look the same. It doesn't hit the same. It's not the same, period. Rest in peace, Murphy. I didn't mean to brush over his death. It still really bothers me. Fantasmic needs to bring back that dragon. It really bothers me that they haven't done it. I really thought they were going to do it for this past summer, for the 70th anniversary, but of course they didn't do that. However, Maleficent is still supported by some awesome music, some of Disney's greatest villain music. Night on Bald Mountain and Hellfire. They go crazy together, which is awesome. So the sequence was fire, literally and figuratively, when those fire effects were working. But without them, it's just, you're looking at nothing visually. Like, the music is popping off, but there's nothing going on. And then this sequence is going to end with all of the villains laughing, and then Jack is going to take his show back. He says he saved the best for last, and this is when our finale sequence is going to get started. It's called the Halloween Scream Along, so there's going to be multiple points where they ask you to scream like in time with the music. And honestly, not really a fan of it. I don't think people really scream, so it's just kind of awkward. It's just kind of like, okay, yeah, anyway. It's always awkward when theme parks ask their guests to engage with something and then nobody engages with it, so it's just kind of like, what are we doing here, you know? I don't know what's happening. Which is kind of a shame because like the energy for this finale is very, very high. I think it's another highlight of the show. It's a mashup between This Is Halloween, Grim Grinning Ghosts, and those scream along moments. I do like how Jack says you're invited to scream like you're trying to wake the dead. I think that's pretty amusing. Every single verse of Grim Grinning Ghosts is played in the finale, which means a lot to me, again, because I love Grim Grinning Ghosts. And that leads directly into my favorite part of This Is Halloween, which is the La La La's. So we get two of those moments in this show, and again, I love it. So I'm a big fan of that. It attached my favorite part of the show to my favorite song in the show, so that's a big W for me. And then there's 3 more moments with the scream along, and then there's a big Happy Halloween finale. It's a pretty impressive finale, much more so than Mickey's Mixed Magic. After that, just like the prologue, this outro sequence is very drawn out without any fireworks. It's like Jack takes his time saying goodbye, even though the show is very much over. So it's a little amusing, but it is what it is. And then there's some absolutely awesome exit music, which is from Hocus Pocus. I'm a big fan of the exit music for this show. So overall, I used to love Halloween Screams, man. I used to think this was peak. And to be completely honest, that's probably because I was like in the target demographic for this show. This show opened in 2009. Then they put like some barriers on it so I couldn't see it. Or like I was rarely able to see it. And then as I grew up, it became more available. So then I loved the soundtrack for a while. I loved watching the show. And then eventually I became a bigger fan of other Disneyland fireworks shows, especially when Wondrous Journeys opened. And then my love for other fireworks shows has kind of taken away the shine of this one. Because it used to be this one or bust. Like I would love to watch Halloween Screams, but like any other Disneyland fireworks show, I'm 100% down to pass on it. But obviously, like I would still see the other Disneyland fireworks shows because I've grown up going to Disneyland and I had friends and family who would want to see the fireworks shows. But Halloween Screams was the only one that like I had to see, you know, like every single year. And I still do. I still watch it every single year because I loved it. Like it still meant a lot to me, even if I'm starting to pick apart some of its flaws. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Disney gave us a new Halloween show at Disneyland. I don't know if they're ever gonna do that or how long they'll wait before it gets to the point where they're like, okay, we have to get a new Halloween show. But I think now's the point in time where they should start to consider it. Because we haven't had a new fireworks show since Wondrous Journeys. So I'm hoping Disneyland gets a new fireworks show in the next couple of years. I doubt it's going to be next year. If it is next year, I would imagine that it would be a holiday fireworks show, which either would be this show, Halloween Screams, or the holiday show for Christmas time. I'm really not a big fan of those fireworks either, so I'm planning to make a review video for that show when we get to that time of year. So make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss out on that. Please like this video, please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think of Halloween screams. I would love to hear down below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you later.